Nike Adewale. I'm just going to share my slide 1 second. All right. So I'm going to be introducing you to SharePoint. So our agenda for today is the introduction, the benefits of using SharePoint, the page creation and site, navigation, page design, and additional information. So we're going to be having this in 3 parts. I'm going to do a walkthrough. Uzo is going to do like a quick go through the user guide, and they will do a live demo of how to actually use SharePoint. So I'll start by saying what SharePoint is. Yeah. So basically, what is SharePoint? So SharePoint is 1 second. I just need to get this. Okay. SharePoint is basically SharePoint are versatile platforms that can be used for creating, sharing, and managing information efficiently for collaborative content management. Users can leverage various page elements such as text, images, videos, web parts, documents, libraries, list calendars, etc. for engagement and collaboration. So what is it basically saying? It's saying that teams can use it to collaborate effectively. You can use it to automate your workflow. You can use it to customize whatever your team needs. It can be used to communicate within team members. You can use it to upload files. You can use it to upload documents that you want your teams to work on. You can use it to pass information to teams. You can use it to even like things like calendar. So SharePoint is similar to what you would use in what's it called, Jira, Confluence. So SharePoint has its own, it's actually integrated to Teams. So even when you go on your Teams and you go on your file and document section, that is actually SharePoint at the background. So you can actually add it to your page to use it in a larger way. You can use it to collaborate with your team members, to communicate, to pass information, to let team members know when there's something new in the project you're working on. So they are dynamic and be customized extensively to fit the needs of any organization by adding sections and web parts. So what are sections? Sections are containers that help with page layouts for organizing content into distinct areas. You can choose from different column layouts for each section, depending on content needs. Web parts are building blocks that you add within these sections to display content like text, images, documents, charts, features, or custom functionality. So web parts can be also added to different sections on SharePoint page. It can be placed in multiple columns. You can use it to interact with your team members. You can add features like filtering, sorting, and grouping of your page. You use it to basically organize your page according to columns, just to give your page a structure. So that's where web parts are. You can add things like libraries. You can add things like uploading your file. You can add things like links to YouTube. You can have several things that you can do with web parts. They are literally the containers that you use in structuring your page. So what are the benefits of using SharePoint? One of the main benefits is team collaboration. It can be used for centralized information hub, which is literally passing information within team members. It can be used as a repository or knowledge base. So you have a document section where you can actually add your artifacts to, so it's easily accessible for team members. So it's also easy content creation. It's easy to create content and edit. So if SharePoint has its own templates, inbuilt templates, all you need to do is just pick a template and use it to do your work. We have several templates which you'll see towards the end of this presentation. So we have separate, you can use it to integrate your MS tools, things like you have your Microsoft Dynamics, you have your Azure DevOps. You can actually integrate it to your Azure DevOps. So instead of you to start setting for your Azure DevOps or going on the browser, you have a link to your Azure DevOps page. You have a link to your Excel page. You can have a link or things like that. So you can just click on the link and it takes you straight to your Azure Adobe board and it takes you straight to your Excel files and all that. So you can customize it according to the personal need of the teams. So for instance, if you're working on a project that maybe an e-commerce project, you can customize it to that need. It has templates that you would use that will make the workflow easy for you to use. Then there are different versions. There are different versions on SharePoint. You're able to track your work. You're able to track changes in your work as well. So like I said before, these are some of the things that you can use your SharePoint page for to create content. You can choose your templates, you can title and describe your page, add descriptions to your page so that it's easy for people to understand what that represents. You can customize it by adding text, insert images and media, uploading it from your file, from your folder on your laptop or your phone, whatever system or application you're working with. You can add web parts, you can customize the page to suit the need of your project. You can preview and save changes. So you can actually save to drafts as well until you're sure that you want to actually upload whatever it is that you've saved for your team to have access to. You can also do things like inviting external people to work with on your project. So you can actually share a link with them to come on your SharePoint page. You can limit what access you want them to also have. For instance, you have a document on your page and you're working with an external developer. You don't want him to have access to the whole of your SharePoint page. You can actually just give him access to that particular section you want him to view, and access, and you can limit the access. You can time the access. For instance, you just want him to have access for like 2 weeks. You can actually time it to that 2 weeks access, and after 2 weeks he won't be able to have access or to view that particular document or content that you want him to view. So these are samples of some of the things you can do. So for instance, you want to make your page look interesting. So if you look at this page now, it kind of means the same, but it's just structured differently. So we have a link to Azure DevOps here. So this one just says devazure.com. When you come on it, you don't really know what it is. What's devazure.com? You're not really interested. You just kind of wave it off. But when you look at the other image, it's more catchy. It's got the description, Azure DevOps boldly reading. It's telling you what that is, linked to the Azure DevOps dashboard. So you know exactly what you're looking for. You know what the content is, and then it's easy for you to understand the page and what you want to click on and where you're actually trying to access. More examples of what you can do. You can actually send links to people's email. You can have your project release date on Azure DevOps. You can have countdown to your release. It's actually so like you can see my name on it. It's showing you when I actually uploaded this, what time. You can add, this is part of version control as well. You know that, yes, this is 10 minutes ago. I could change it and then it will update the time to when last I updated that particular section. You can have links to your YouTube page. For instance, this is one of the projects we're working on. If you click on it, it takes you to YouTube to see one of the things they've worked on. We have things like the fun part of it, like the birthdays, countdown to birthdays. It can be anything, team milestones. It doesn't have to be birthdays. It can be team milestones. Maybe like I said earlier, your release date. It can be countdown to things like maybe you have new requirements that you need to gather, or maybe you have your team meetings as well, important things that you want to call the attention of the team to. Then this is an organizational chart just for you to know the workflow of your project or your organization. You can customize it to your own need as well. You can decide what you want to put on your organizational chart based on whatever requirements you've been asked to do. And so we're going to show you the step-by-step user's guide on how to use SharePoint, which you can access later to use to build your own SharePoint page. So some of the do's and don'ts of SharePoint. So maintain consistent branding, use clear language, that is make it understandable for everybody, as easy and simple. Use built-in design tools. So it's actually advisable to use the inbuilt instead of trying to kind of change it to your own. It's best to just use what they have available so that it's easy for everybody to understand and it's easy for you to work as well. Organize contents logically. So you want to structure your page in a way that it is not all over the place, You have it structured. It could be like your description of the page, your introduction, maybe themes on one section, a section for BAs, Scrum Masters, QAs, developers, another section where you can have your documents, arrange documents or organize a document orderly, and things like that. Test across devices for performance. So you want to test different devices. You want to test and see the performance on several devices to ensure that it's working accordingly in all, for instance, your laptop, your phone, your mobile phone. It could be some applications, some browsers. You just want to test to see, and it's because it also has site access. So you want to see if it's working properly on your team apps, and also when you go on the browser, is it working properly? Is it working as you expect it to? Don'ts of SharePoint. So you want to avoid excess content on the page. Like I said earlier, you just want it simple and organized for people to understand. You don't want to have a page with like 100 things on it. When you go on the page, it's already a ton of, you just have to start searching, and you're really, really busy. You don't really have the time to start searching by columns and by sections. So you just want to go straight to the point, make your page as easily accessible as possible, make it understandable and just simple as short. Stick to branding guidelines, minimize reliance on complex customization, similar to what I said earlier, ensure accessibility features, regulate update content, kind of update as much as possible, but reasonably as well. So you want to be able to, you don't want to leave the page just blank, you want to have content on it, like so that the team will know that there's an action on that page. For instance, maybe once in a week, you want to change, add new documents, you want to change some content, it could be attention to the team. It could be just something to make it busy, to keep the page engaged, to keep team members engaged on the page. You have comment sections as well, where you can actually tag your team members to to call their attention to certain things. For instance, if there's a change on your project, on your Adobe board on your project, and you want to call the attention of maybe the developer, you can tag them on the comment section of your SharePoint page and kind of tag that PBI you're working on, put the content there so that they can know exactly what they're looking out for. You can use it as your communication platform, as a communication platform as well. Thank you. So I'll pass it on to Uzo, and then we'll come back and do some live demo on the SharePoint page. Thanks, Uzo. I'll hand it over to you.
Hi guys. So my name is Uzo Okezie. I'm going to be your second instructor for SharePoint. I know there's a lot of information here, but don't worry at all. Someone said when it comes to Microsoft products, um, no one explains it better than Microsoft. So there's so much information online um, about this, but we're just trying to, try and give you some of the main points. So I'm going to share with you a user guide that we created for SharePoint. Um, so it's like Adenike said, this is a step-by-step guide for page creation. Once we're done with this, we're going to the product owners are going to tell you a bit more about the project. But these are just some of the things that you're going to need when you're either as a BA writing the requirements, or the Scrum Master developing it, or the QA testing it, depending on what your role is, and even just as a team member interacting with SharePoint. Because the wonderful thing about SharePoint is that it's I don't know how many of you know about intranet systems where teams can collaborate with each other. So once you put a document on SharePoint, it's not a static document. From SharePoint, you can actually edit, you can add your information. Different people can work on the same document at the same time. So it's really, really interactive and very, very easy to use. So I know we're throwing a lot of information at you at this point, but just know that SharePoint is very user friendly. It's a Microsoft product, and that means it integrates with the things you're familiar with already. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all the applications you're already familiar with as well. And like I said, even though this is like a lot of information we're sharing, you have more than enough time to go through it, watch videos, do all of that. So like I said, I just want to focus on some other aspects of the SharePoint creation. So like I said, this is a user manual. It's a step-by-step guide as to the page creation. Now, to create an actual page on SharePoint, you have to be a site administrator. To create or delete, you have to be a site administrator. So you can't change the URL. It's actually a web page. So it lives online. Even though you can access it on Teams, you can actually, it has its own URL. So you can literally click on it wherever you are. As long as you have access to the internet and a browser, you can click on it and work on it. Now, only one team member can edit it at a time. So once you start editing, it locks it because it believes that, obviously it doesn't want multiple people editing a document at the same time so that it won't be confused. But it already starts saving it as a default behind the scenes. So once you're done editing, once you click on the edit button, it locks it. The only way to unlock it is to either discard the changes you've made, save a draft, or publish. Those are the three ways. So make sure that once you click the edit button, you have to do one of these other things. If not, you leave the page thinking that, oh, it's just going to log off. It's not going to log off. It's going to lock that page until the user that has locked it unlocks it. So please, if you're one of the ones, especially if you're a Scrum Master who is going to be developing the page, you will need to be very careful about that. Or even a team member, who wants to go around and see what's happening on maybe your team member's SharePoint page. Another thing, again, that I want to point out is that SharePoint knows who is working on it. So it has, not only does it have version control, that means that if you change anything, it saves the new version and still retains the old version. So I'll show you a bit of that if I have a bit more time very quickly. But you can't break SharePoint, so don't be afraid to play around with it, explore, see what you can do on it. If you delete anything, you can recover it. But then anybody who goes onto SharePoint will already note that Uzo was on SharePoint at this particular time, or Adenike was on SharePoint at this particular time. So that means that everything you do, it notes, it notes what you do. And that's where things like page analytics comes in, because then you see how often your team members use SharePoint and how often they interact with it. But let me just go on to this document that I'm showing you at the moment. Like I said, these are some of the things you can do on on a SharePoint page. Like Adenike mentioned, you can add or publish a page. Like I said, once a SharePoint page has been created, you can add different pages. So you can add like a documents page, you can add a documents library, you can add a list page, you can add about us, you can add mission, vision, like all those sorts of things. It's like a website. So you can do all of those things. You can add and publish a page, and then you can add and publish web parts. Now, Adenike showed you what web parts are. If I'll make this document available to you at the end of this session, but if you scroll down to the end, you see where all these web parts are defined. So Microsoft want to make things very easy for you. So a lot of the features are drag and drop. If you open a session, we'll show you that as well during our demo. But if you open a particular session, it'll tell you, what do you want to do here? Do you want this session to be one session? Maybe you want, like, these websites that have like a cover image. So you can just have a cover image from one side of the website to the other side. It will tell you, is that what you want? Then create a one column section. Or do you want to split this section into 2 parts or 3 parts? One part can be text, one part can be image. Do you want to tell us about the people in your organization? So do you want to click the web part for people? And you now tell us, okay, this person is your SM, this person is your BA, this person is your QA, this is their name, this is, these are some wonderful things about them. Do you want to have a column for news where you can share, oh, this is what's happening in my team? It could be project dates, it could be just fun dates, someone's birthday, someone's anniversary, it could be anything. So there are loads and loads and loads of different um web parts. Once you create a section, it then asks you, what do you want to do with that section? And you can choose to add text, add an image, add anything. So these are some of the things you can do. And then once you've done that, you can customize an area. So even when you say, I want text, it will give you the editing or formatting table for you to either add a heading or bold it, use um different fonts, different sizes, different colors, so you can customize the different sections. And then once you're done with that and you publish your page, you can actually share the URL. So if, for example, a Scrum Master wants to share the URL of the team SharePoint page with the team, they can copy it and share it with others, or they can literally click share and then add the person's email address, and it will go to the person. So there are loads and loads of different things you can do. Edit your page. You can comment, like maybe someone shares an article or a blog post. People can comment, they can like, you can see how many people have viewed it. You can save things for later, so many different things. So the one thing, like I said, that you won't be able to do unless you're a site administrator is delete your page. So you can't create and you can't delete. Every other thing you should be able to do. Um, so when again, I won't go through all of this. Like I said, I'll make this available to you. I won't go through this page by page, but it's just a step by step guide as to, okay, let's say I want to add or publish a page. This is basically what you do. It's just basically showing you how to select. Again, we're going to demo that for you a bit, but once you're done with this section, like I said, like you've been told, your project is creating this for your team. So you can use this as a step-by-step guide as to what to do and how to do it. So that's how to add and publish a page, how to add a web part, and so on and so on and so forth. So these are the different web parts like I talked about. Yeah, choose the one you want, and then, you know, if for example you click on the web part and you don't automatically see the web part you want, probably you want something that has to do with um uh adding a YouTube page like Adenike talked about, and you can't immediately see it here, you can literally click on the search bar and search YouTube. As you're searching for it, it's coming up, you know. So very, very user friendly, trust me. It's quite easy, it's drag and drop, like I keep saying. But remember, even though you can play around with it, the rules of creating a website still apply. So that's why some of the things that Denike talked about, the do's and the don'ts, and all the different consistency with color, space, all those things really help you. And it really helps if you follow Microsoft's guidelines, because there are some things that they've done by default, spacing, some of all these things. You can change it, but if you change it, it might not look too great, you know. So yeah, customizing the title area, adding an image, all those sorts of things. And then obviously when you do that, the again, because it's Microsoft, you have stock images. You don't have to look for images. It's literally given to you. You can sync your website, your documents to your OneDrive. You can upload documents, you can add links. It's very, very user friendly, and you can integrate a lot of the things that you're already doing onto your SharePoint site. So the hope is that not only would you have a great experience with creating your SharePoint site into the way that you like, but that you'd also use it throughout this internship and get familiar with it. You guys will go online, collaborate on it, you know, chat, whether it's work, play, whatever you're doing, they'll just spend time, you know, collaborating with each other on it as well. So yes, there's a lot. This is a 26-page guide. Again, I won't be able to go through everything. Another very important thing is your document library, because again, SharePoint is also a document repository. So a lot of organizations, apart from using it as a website, a lot of organizations actually put their documents onto SharePoint. So once you upload a document there, then everyone that has access to it can edit it, unless you restrict editing. Maybe you only want them to view, then you can do that, but hopefully you won't do that, because the whole aim is for people to collaborate on it. So once I'll show you, even this document I have here, I can show you, you know, it, because it is on SharePoint. It's been uploaded onto SharePoint, so people have been able to, you know, open it, you know, take whatever it is they need from it, you know, add to it, do all of that, you know, save it onto their own different document libraries as well. So your document library is really very important. You're going to be creating a lot of documents, your team charter, you're going to be creating for BAs, you guys are going to be creating your stakeholder matrices, your RACI, the QAs are going to be creating their test strategy, test plans, all these things you can put on there. And then every week, you're going to be demoing, you know, creating demos. You can save these documents on here, and then the Scrum Master can save it onto SharePoint in your on your SharePoint page, and then just get all the team members, BAs. You guys should put what you've done on there. QAs put what you've done on there in the same document at the same place. The Scrum Masters can look and see who has edited the document, and then it's really good. It's never lost. So again, we talked about uh, a countdown. I think one of the things Adenike shared was a countdown. You can add a countdown, for example, maybe a countdown to your demo, a countdown to someone's birthday, anything. There are loads and loads of different things. So I'll just go through this really quickly. We don't have that much time. Yeah. So, like I said, I'll make this available to you. I know it's a lot of information. I believe. Let me just. There's something else I want to show you. Yes, I mentioned the fact that I would explain. This document has a glossary which explains what all the different web parts are. So all these are the different web parts that Microsoft has on there that you can choose whether you want to click on a link where you can copy any link off the internet and add it, and SharePoint puts that on your page. So anytime someone clicks on that page, they'll go straight to the link. You can have an image, not just an image, you can have an image gallery where you can upload pictures. Maybe your team has a get together and you guys take loads of pictures and you want to upload it for everyone to see. You can upload it in your image gallery. You can link to Kindle. You can have a news, org chat, people, planner, Power Apps, Power BI. It's a lot. So this is just a bit of a glossary as to all the different web parts and what they do. But the more you use it, obviously, the more you will understand what it does. And then again, like I told you, there are sections. We're going to see that now. I'm going to hand over to Adenike in a bit, and then we'll just go to a live demo of a SharePoint page. So these are just some of the features. You can have a sidebar, column. Not only can you have sections for all these different things, blog post, FAQ, header, footer, all those sorts of things. You can have you can arrange how you want your site to look. There are different layouts you can use and all of that. So it's really, really great. Yeah. So I didn't care. I think over to you for the demo. I'll just hand it over to you to go into the demo. Thank you.
Okay, Uzo, I'll just share my screen again. Can you quickly check your message quickly?
Okay. Do you want me to do it?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right, then that's
I'll stop
fine.
sharing 1 second because I'm already sharing.
No worries.
All right, carry on.
All right. All right. So I'll do the demo for the page. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Awesome. Okay. So I'll use a generic page for you. Now, like I told you, you can actually see this is a page that where it's not it's it's like our test page. So it's not your page. Once you get a page gets created, you can either have a default page where you have to add everything, or you can add a template. So this is one of the default pages. So ignore all of this. I just want to show you what it looks like. So this is basically what it looks like off of Teams. So this is my Teams channel. And then, so I literally just clicked on you. If you have access to Teams, you probably have one of these. So this is the SharePoint page. You can change the name on here. This is just, like I said, is a default page. This is how it comes, but everything is customizable. There's nothing here that is not customizable. So yeah, this is how it looks on Teams. But remember, I told you that this is a website. So once you're done working off it, it will look like yeah. So this is what it looks like as a website. This is the URL. And this is basically so that this is not Teams anymore. I'm literally, this is like the URL of the page. So it's a, once you add your pages here, they will either show up here or they will show up at the top, just like a normal website. Like I said, this is not, this is a page that we use to learn or to play around. It's not one of the main pages we have. Let me show you one of the pages that people are creating. I won't we won't work with that, but I just want to show you what it can look like. So this is what a SharePoint page, again, this is something else that people are just playing around with, but it's not developed in any way. But this is maybe a bit structured, what it can look like. There's loads and loads and loads of different things that can go on here, but this is just to show you. So what I'm going to use as a demo is a page, like I said, that we're just using to play around. So please don't think that this is what SharePoint is. There are some sites you see that are fully functional with loads of different tabs at the top that you will never know that they are SharePoint pages, because a SharePoint page is basically a website. That's what it is. The only difference is that people can log in and collaborate. On a website, you click on what they want you to click on. But on a SharePoint page, you can contribute. You can add your documents, you can play around with it. So that's the only difference. There are loads of documents you visit online that people have made public. See, this is a private group, so only people that have access will have access. But there are some people that create SharePoint pages and they put it on the internet, and you're interacting with it. They may not give you the permission to change anything, but you're interacting with it and you don't even know it's a SharePoint page. It's literally a website. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to deal with um um this test environment. That's what this is. It's just a test environment. So once you come on here, this is a normal, everybody should have this access. But once we're done with this, we're going to talk a bit more about how you're going to run your SharePoint project. This is just for information. This is an informational tutorial. So once you come on here, you click on edit. Once it's on edit, everything on this page becomes editable. Yeah. Remember I told you about it being locked for editing. So once I click that button, I have three things I need to do. Once I'm done with whatever it is I'm doing, I can either save as a draft, discard my changes, or republish. But right now, nobody else can access this page. If anybody goes there, they will see locked for editing by Uzo Okize. So you know who has locked it for editing. But as long as I've clicked that edit button, nobody else can touch it. Now, once you do that, it all this opens up to you. So like I said, these are different web parts that have already been added. So you can even see them. If you want to edit them, you can edit them. But let's say I want to add another web part, another section, sorry, because you start as a section, you decide how your section is going to be, the different columns, before you add a web part. So to add another section, I click on these, look at this plus buttons by the side. Once you click on it, it will ask you, what do you want? Do you want a template, or do you want to create something for yourself? So I want to create something for by myself, and these are the options it gives me. Do I want one column? Do I want two? Do I want three? Look at all the different options. Again, I would encourage you to play around with it. Once you don't republish, it won't save. Do you understand? It won't save. So please don't be afraid to explore, not recklessly, but explore. So let's say, for example, I click on two columns. Let's be let's be conventional. So now these two columns have appeared here. Then it's now asking you, what do you want on each column? So each column, because it's two columns, each column has a plus at the top for me to add a web part. So once I click on this, it tells me, what do you want? Do you want this column to be a text column? Or do you want it to be for images? Or do you want to add your links? Do you want news? Do you want people? So these are the different, remember we kept talking about web parts. So do you want a call to action button? Do you want an image gallery? Do you want a spacer? Do you want a stream? Stream is Microsoft's video streaming service. So this is usually to stream recordings or videos. But if you don't want to use theirs, you can use YouTube. Again, there are many different versions. So this is text. Okay, this is text as well. Again, if I've used something, it comes onto my frequently used. So that's why these are repeated. But so these are the text, media, and content. And then these are documents. So if, for example, I want a document library, I'll click on this. I'll click on, so this is a list. Every web part comes with its own functionality. So you don't have to build it from scratch. When someone says, add a document repository to your website, you don't have to start cracking your brain to say, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? You literally come to the web part. Let's select a documents library. I click on this, and then it gives me a document library, and then it now asks me, where do you want the documents to be from? Do you understand? So I now have to configure it, and it shows me all the different options, and I can either, agree to this, I can edit it, I can do all of that. So once it gives you these options, it now gives you some more options at the top. Do you want to edit this web part? Because remember, this is a functionality that Microsoft has just given you the way it is. It has already done all the things it needs to do in the background. These are documents that already belong to this particular um, channel. So it already tells you these are the documents that are here. Do you want to keep it? You can edit it. You can duplicate this web part. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it so much that I want to duplicate it. You can do that, or you can say, oh no, I don't want this anymore. I want to, X out of it and delete it. And then it tells you again, okay, for example, let's go to the easy one. For example, I want to add an image here. So I click on image. It tells you, what image do you want? Do you want an image you've recently used? So it shows you all the recent images. Or do you want stock images? Remember, I told you Microsoft comes with all of this. It's free to use. So these are all the different stock images. Do you want communication? Do you want architecture? Do you want celebration? Someone's birthday? Use whatever it is you want to use. Or do you want to search online? Maybe you have something that Microsoft doesn't have that you want to search. You can click on the website. Maybe you already have one on your system that you want to upload. You click on upload, you can do that. So let's just get a nice sunset image or something. Okay, let's do a Safari one. So you click on it and then you insert. So it puts that there for you. You can add your caption here. So that's this web part sorted. I'm done with this web part now for now. But let's say you want to edit it. Look at all the different options at the top. Maybe you want to crop it. You can crop this one. You can browse other images. Maybe you don't like this one. You want to change. You can browse other images. You can add a text on it. Sunset in the savannah or something, put text overlay. So all these options are available to you. But let's just say I'm done with this now. Then remember, this is a column that has two different sections. So one section is done. Let's just say sunset in the savannah. The savannah. So I'm done with this now. Then I move over to the second column, and the same choice has been given to me. What do you want to do with this one now? Now, because there's an image in the other bit, I want to add text. So I want to talk about what this is about. Yeah. So, because obviously no one knows what that is. I go back to my selection, and then do I want a call to action button? Do I want a divider? Do I want to hear whatever it is? Do I want two images, or do I want text? Let me click on text. Now it has given you, because you clicked on text, it's giving you a whole formatting ribbon up here for you to choose. Do you want to make it bold? Do you want to add color? Is this your text, or do you want to use a header? Let's say I want to use a header. Project SharePoint. Oh, sorry. Where I am is a bit dark. So let's say Project SharePoint. Okay, I want to put it in the middle. I like this, but let's say I want to align it to the center. I align it to the center. I want it to be a bit bolder. We already know what editing things are there, so that's fine. That's my heading. I come down to the lower part again. I can add another web part. So now I still want text, but I want normal text. So this is my teams, blah 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 blah. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing what this is. My teams. So yeah, you get the the gist. So this is a web part I've just created. Great. All right, let's move on. Again, if it's something that is more relatable to you, for example, your team, there's Team Agile. I believe there's Team Agile. You guys can write about your team. What is Team Agile about? Team Agile. Okay. What are we known for? What do we want to be known for? Maybe I want to change this to heading 3. I want to put it to the left, justify left, or justify left. Then here you can talk about, okay, this is what Team Agile is about, blah 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 blah, and all of that until you design your entire website. Here you can add a file, some of the training videos you guys are getting. You may want to put it here for it to be available for everyone. You can add that here, so on and so forth. Again, the beautiful thing about SharePoint is that once you add these documents here, let's say now I'm done with all of this because time is not really on my side. So I republish. Yeah. So there you go. This is my website. This is what I've done. Very rudimentary, but at least it shows you what I've done. As a page administrator, as a Scrum Master, I can check for my analytics and see how often people have used it. How often has it been viewed? What are my page views? What is my traffic? Are there new people that are using it? And so on and so forth. The functionality is so much um I can't say it within this time. But the one thing I want to show you before I close for questions is documents. One of the most important uses of SharePoint is as a document library, as a folder. So we're going to ask you, in your project, you're going to be asked to create, upload your assignments, upload your demos, upload your artifacts, do all of that. I found that there are people that are not really used to SharePoint. They upload it and they just think that that's where it is. It lives here now, and you can play around with it. So the way you look for a website that people can collaborate on. Maybe you're doing your demo or something. You need to put it and then share privileges so everyone will be able to use it. Once you upload a document onto SharePoint, everybody who has access to it will be able to use it. Remember, I told you about the manual. Let me quickly go to the SharePoint folder. Okay, so this is the manual, the user guide I showed you. Yeah, everybody that has access to this SharePoint page has access to this. So all I need to do is literally save it here, and everyone has access to it. So if you want to click on it, let me just show you a little bit about the functionalities of SharePoint when it comes to documents. If you click on those 3 ellipses, it asks you how you want to open this document. We can all see it's a web document, but you can edit it here in Teams. You can open a browser, or you can open the Word app on your desktop and edit it that way. Or you can open it in SharePoint. And then let me click on SharePoint. So this is the same document on SharePoint. Again, I click on those three buttons. Let me right click on it. There you go. Okay, again, it tells you, do you want to open it on Word outline? Do you want to download it, view it? But this is where I'm interested in. This is version control. So I have edited this document. Adenike goes and she edits it. And we find out that Adenike has mistakenly deleted something that she wasn't supposed to delete. I can literally click on version control and it shows me all the different versions of that particular document. So let's say I'm the one that deleted it and maybe I want an earlier version of it. I can literally click on this earlier version. I can either view it or I can restore it. So I'm just using all that to show you just some of the versatility that lives in SharePoint. It is an amazing tool. Explore, play around with it, add what you want to it, just have fun with your SharePoint page, and obviously add all the requirements we ask you to add, but don't be afraid of it. You can't break it. and the experience you get by using it is invaluable. There's so many people that know of SharePoint, but they're not familiar with it. So please take this project really, really seriously. If there's anything else you need from us, we're going to have a little bit of maybe 5 minutes or so for you to ask questions. Adenike and I, ask us the questions you want to ask us. And then even after that, your POs are going to be there. The SharePoint team, there are 3 of us. You can ask us questions whenever you want. This video is going to be available for you when you need it. So all the help you need is available to you. You're not on your own, but please be bold. Please, embrace this project, with everything you have, and you're going to be better for it. It's going to put you on another level in the job market, skills wise, so that's it for me. If I think we're done now. If anyone has any questions for Adenike or me, we're happy to take your questions. Thank you. Goodness, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Uzo. Thank you. First of all, I don't even know how to access the SharePoint. I'd gone to my my browser to type SharePoint. Well, no. So is there something I need to type or something to get that?
So like all the applications and software that is going to be made available to you during the internship, it's within this organization. So if you go out and just type it in the browser, because you don't have access at the moment, it will just show you something that is public. The wonderful thing about SharePoint is that you can lock it within your organization, so no one who you haven't given access to will have access to it. That's where the freedom to play around and add all your private organizational documents comes, because Microsoft will keep it safe for you. So again, like all the different applications here, I believe that your wonderful admin, they're going to make it available to you. Remember what I said, you can't create a SharePoint page or delete one if you don't have admin access. So I believe the plan will be the same with Azure DevOps and all the different apps. It will be, your page will be created for you. You'll be given access. And then at that point, you'll be able to have access to SharePoint. So you may not have it now. That's why we're doing this, preliminary learning, tutorial for. But once this is done, the admin will do do all the magic they normally do behind the scenes, and you'll be given access, and you get the link, and you'll be able to play around with it. So don't worry about that. That will happen a bit later. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Adeolisa, go ahead.
Thank you, Uzo.
You're
So
welcome.
my question is, if you add 2 columns, can you go back and edit it later to more than
100%. 100. Remember, I showed you the document I was playing around with, and once I clicked on edit, everything became editable. So I have to be careful not to go and remove something I've done, because once you click on edit, it makes everything editable. So if I want to change something I've already done, I can go back to that web part again and change it, change the image. And it's actually another beautiful thing about SharePoint. Your SharePoint page doesn't have to be static. You can have a page here today, tomorrow you an image, of a picture, maybe someone's birthday, you put Adeolisa's picture where, Project Agile is the only one I know, I'm so sorry, is celebrating Adeolisa's birthday, and you put celebrate her. The next day is not Adeolisa's birthday. You remove Adeolisa's picture and add Goodness's picture. Maybe it's her wedding anniversary. So it's very versatile. There's nothing you put there that is lost, or there's nothing you put there that is permanent. Once you click on edit, it opens up the entire page, and you're able to add, remove, leave it as it is, do whatever it is you want. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Adejoke.
Hi, Uzo. Thank you for your
Hi.
time. Yeah, my question is, I just want to know, can someone have SharePoint personally, to just try that on his or her own personally without using the class SharePoint? That's my question. Thank you.
That's a very good question. I don't know that anyone has asked that before, and I'm not sure what the answer is. I didn't care, DG. I don't know if you guys can help with that because I don't know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
answer.
Okay. Okay. The answer I think is no, right? Because you need to have license. Of course, yeah. Let me say right, yes, but of course you need to buy it. You need to have license anyway. So yeah, so that's what I can say. You need to have license for that. So yeah, yeah. So once you didn't buy it, you don't have license, then you won't be able to have it. Yeah.
Yeah, but in regarding license, if someone doesn't mind having the license, does it cost so much or
Yeah, just
can
go
it?
to Microsoft and ask. Anyway, it's not that cheap anyway. Per one. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, DG.
Yeah.
Juliet, over to you, please. This is
Hi,
your
thank you
session.
so much, Ade, Nike, and Uzo. I raised my hand because it was just to make everyone aware that the role specific session is on. So I know there are still lots of questions for Uzo. Oh, sorry about that. I know there are still questions for Uzo and Adenike, but believe you me, we're not going to be able to tackle all the questions today. Mainly because you haven't started the project and there is still a lot that will come in as your project starts. So I was just wanting to say that if we can maybe pencil this for now, and then once your project start, as your questions come, you can always reach out to your POs and even Uzo and Adejoke themselves. Sorry, not Adejoke, Adenike, apologies. They'll be able to help so that we don't run late for our session, because I believe the tutors are already waiting for you in your in the breakout room, if that's all right.